الزوار الأعزاء، حياكم في إكسبو 2020 دبي. نأمل أن تستمتعوا.
And don't you stop the music, get into it, won't you dance with me? Find a place and lose it, you can do it, won't you dance with me?
Hi guys! Welcome back to ZM2J's channel. This is Jocelyn P. Mangibin, a board certified behavior analyst and an international behavior analyst. Yes, as you can see, we are now in the car with my family and we're heading to Dubai, but I still have something for you guys. If you're new to this channel, we are tackling about applied behavior analysis, in which we are manipulating the environment so that we can see what are the variables that affect your child's behavior. And with that, I would like to have a very quick and precise examples of the behaviors or review about behavior. I remember making this video like a year ago about what is behavior. Is it a behavior or not? But since this video is for a review, I would like to have more examples and more emphasis on the behaviors. And we have two kinds of behaviors. That is respondent and operant. For the respondent behavior, these are all elicited by a stimulus. Okay, so these are not learned. Alright, so this is from our reflexes. Just for example, you ate something that is spoiled, then you gag. Okay, so that the eating of that spoiled food makes your tummy gag. So the gagging is a reflex and it is a respondent behavior. It is actually under the phylogenetic history. That means we don't learn it, we just earn it from our genetically inheritance. Another example of respondent behavior is when you heard the thunder, very strong thunder, and then you startle. Okay, so the thunder is the stimulus that makes your startling happen. And the startling is not learned. It's just from your reflexes. It's on your system already. Okay, so for the operant, we have what we call ontogenic. Okay, through ontogenic history. That means that the learning of that behavior is taken from the consequences. So basically what we are doing right now, all the voluntary behaviors are behaviors that are learned from the consequences that we have, the direct contact with the environment. For example, we went to the grocery store. So in the presence of you're not having a food and then you went to grocery store and then you were able to buy food, then you get reinforced. So that is the consequence. So that means in ABA, the consequence could be a positive or a negative one. Could be a reinforcing or a punishing one. So the consequence is always right after the behavior. In short, the operant is learned through ontogenic history, which involves your history with the consequences that you have experienced. And why I am tackling it now? It is very important because I want to share with you in the layman's term, in a normal flow of life, what is going on and what kind of behavior we are doing right now, or what kind of behavior is occurring right now through using our analysis. If it is a stimulus and then the behavior happened, for example, something happened in the environment and then the behavior happened, only that without the consequence, that means it's a respondent behavior. Okay, but if a stimulus and then the behavior happened and then something happened like a consequence, so you have the history of that behavior. So the possibility of you doing it again on the same behavior next time will be based on the experience of that history of the consequence. So I'm so excited to share with you our experience to go to Dubai right now, because I'm gonna show you what are the examples what are the examples of respondent behavior and operant behavior. Guys, the first example that I want to show you about operant behavior is the use of this GPS. You can see the GPS there. See? So my husband is using the GPS because he had the history that whenever he doesn't know the location, he just look on the map and then apply it on the GPS. When he used the GPS, he was successful in finding the place. So, because of the history that my husband was able to successfully reach the place using this GPS, every time he needs to go to somewhere that he doesn't know the place yet, he will use the GPS. So the behavior of finding the place through the GPS is getting higher and higher. And that is one of the examples of operant behavior.
Let's see if his house is moved.
So guys, we're finally here in the hotel that we are supposed to go, and we already checked in and we are preparing for our trip to Expo 2020. So we're gonna take bus instead of the private car, so it's easier for us to travel there. For the respondent behavior, actually, I just remembered whenever I'm doing some I'm plugging something on the wall or on the socket, sometimes it has sparks, right? I just saw it now, but it didn't spark today. But usually at home, whenever I'm unplugging something, it has a spark, and it really startled me, and my heartbeat really beats fast. So that is stimulus, that is the spark, and then my heart beats so fast, and that is the respondent behavior, the reflex. Another operant behavior or learned behavior. As you can see, I'm on the sink right now in the area of the shower room, and I used to have a history. I didn't open it yet, but I used to have a history that when I turn it on or I open this faucet, it will, or the tap, it will have water. So that is a history for me. Now when I open it, so let's see. There you go. The reinforcement is there. Okay, so even if it's a different kind of tap, still the same reinforcement and the same behavior that I'm doing. It's opening the tap. Well, with regards to behavior, if we say what is behavior, that is actually everything that a living organism does. Okay, so even if you're sitting, you're standing, walking, whatever it is, putting something away, running, so that is behavior. So basically we have what we call dead man's test. Okay, so in that test, it says whatever the concept there is, whatever the dead man can do, it's not a behavior. So let's take a look at that. So the dead man can be blown away, right? So being blown away is not a behavior. And the dead man can be pushed. And being pushed is not a behavior. But if you are the one pushing a person, so can a dead man push a person or another person? Of course not. So that means the concept there is, if the dead man cannot do, that means it is a behavior. So basically, even me talking, looking at the mirror like that, picking up the phone, okay, so those are all behavior. It's just falling into two categories or two types. Is it respondent or operant? If it's respondent, that means it's reflex. It doesn't have to be learned. But if it's operant, it needs to have consequences, or it needs to have history of reinforcements or punishments, so that you can say that it's operant. So I'm getting lots of questions about why is my child covering his ears, okay? Most of the time he covers his ears. Now we need to analyze the situation. Before the covering ears happened, what was the scenario? What was the antecedent, or what was the stimulus before? The setting. So if ever there's a loud noise, okay, a loud noise, and then he covers his ears, and then for himself, covering his ear is removing the loud noise. So that means there are three involved in there. There's a stimulus in the beginning, which is antecedent. There's a behavior, and there's a consequence, which is removing the loud sound. So that means that covering of the ears for your child is an operant. That's learned. Another question I got, or another scenario that I got in one of my live sessions, is that about the child screaming or crying the moment someone laughs loudly. Okay, so for me, it's kind of respondent and some part of operant. Why? It's because when the laugh started, the loud laughing starts, then the child gets startled. That is respondent. However, the crying part, like that, will be an operant when someone gives the consequence or provided a consequence. Or in some case scenario, they stopped laughing. So that means they took away the aversiveness of the situation from the child. So there is an operant side, which means the crying part is learned. So in some scenario, if that would happen, better to adjust your environment so that the child will not cry, or better train your child to say all done please, or lower please, or finished. Or in some case, we don't need to comment directly on the behavior, or just redirect the child to something else.
الزوار الأعزاء، حياكم في إكسبو 2020 دبي. نأمل أن
So guys, apparently we weren't able to take a coach or the coaster, but we were able to catch the bus kasi there's free mobility buses here to go to the Expo 2020. We have some spots.
Excuse me, I am in charge of the security here. Please let me through.
So this is the frankincense tree. This is the well-known oil. It's like, yeah. Nandito? Ah, okay. We are now in Finland. This is our actually third stop, I think. Yeah, this is our third stop.
The work of this mental internet gives origin to different aspects of our cognition, different minds. The learning mind helps us apprehend knowledge.
bata dun. So guys, we're now back in the hotel and it was a long walk, but it's worth it. And we've been to lots of, as you can see, we've been to lots of countries, and each country has its own signature style, you know. So I hope you stay with us until the third day. And thank you so much for staying with us, especially with the idea of operant and respondent behavior. And I hope we can have more discussion, especially next week for my live sessions. Thank you. God bless you all.